All right, everybody, I am back with a very quick Sunday DC update because I had to get in here with the news that just broke. And so, just remember, they all said Zack Snyder had moved on. They said the Snyder Cut didn't exist, that the Snyder Cut would never be released. They all said Zack Snyder had no interest in DC anymore, that he was just a failed director making movies for Netflix, that he was done. He's no longer a filmmaker, and that he is done with DC. Well, it isn't true. As you guys know, he is actually on tour right now with Frank Miller, the guy who wrote The Dark Knight Returns, which is now, I can't believe this, 40 years old. And they were on stage and they were answering questions. And we're going to see what Zack Snyder had to say in regards to someone asking him if he was going to make The Dark Knight Returns. Let's take a look. Zack Snyder was asked when he and Frank Miller are finally going to make The Dark Knight Returns. This was his answer. When they let us. Not if, not maybe, when. Snyder delivered the line while sitting beside the man who wrote the book, then later answered a fan demanding Justice League 2 with another shot. They're all effed up. The characters, that is. With the Paramount Warner takeover looming, and our sources saying Snyder is gung-ho about returning, the gate may finally be starting to move. So let's talk about this here. All the naysayers out there, you just have to laugh at this stage. There are those of us that have been sitting back and waiting. We knew that with all the posts that he was doing, that he's still interested. He said so himself. If anybody has been following this and knows anything about Zack Snyder, then they know that he never lost interest. That he would be willing to come back and do Justice League 2 and 3 if given the opportunity. Not only that, he has let it be known that he would love to adapt a full-on version of The Dark Knight Returns. And I'm assuming it would be done in the same vein that Watchmen was. So he has been posting for a reason. It's not just him reminiscing about movies that he's done in the past. It's not him just riling up the fans, although that is part of it. I do fully believe now that there are things going on behind the scenes. The studio probably had to fund this tour for the 40th anniversary. They know what's going on. They're the ones that team them up together. If you think there haven't been talks behind the scenes, you are sorely mistaken. There are definitely things going on that we are not privy to. We're not going to be privy to. And we don't know who's going to end up with the studio yet, or if the studio will ultimately be spun off. But what we do know is Zack Snyder is interested. One day he will get his shot. And I do believe we're going to see Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill back as Batman and Superman. It's pretty much almost a guaranteed thing at this stage. And anyone who says it isn't, they are on the wrong side of history. They are part of the Snyder Cut doesn't exist. Zack Snyder has moved on. He's not interested in anything. You need to move on. Yes, those individuals making these comments, they certainly need to move on. Because there are those of us that will never stop talking about it. We will never stop hyping it up. And that's exactly what's happening here. They are laying the seeds for people to go out and talk about this. There's a reason why Zack Snyder has been posting everything. They are sowing the seeds for this to cultivate and grow. And then when this finally gets fully announced and is in production, it is going to be huge. Make no mistake about it. It is going to be one of the biggest things that has ever happened to comic book movies ever. All right, guys, I had to get in here with this update. What do you think about this tour that he's on? I'd like to hear your comments on The Dark Knight Returns. I'd like to see who's read it, who hasn't. If people are interested in it, you can go to the store. You can go to your local comic shop, and just about every comic shop will have it in stock because it is a staple in comics. All right, guys, chime up below. What do you think about Zack Snyder's comments? And we will see you guys tomorrow on a regular DC update.